as you can see, is really about championing a bigger cause, which is very important. So from my perspective, I think there's never been a better time in this world than now for the CFO. Why do I say this? I think it's very clear that the world has got a lot of challenges. The world is looking for a trusted partner. In a world where things are very chaotic, there's actually a big storm around us on everything that could be going wrong is going wrong. So there's of course the pandemic, the war, but more importantly, there's big transformations around climate, digital, supply chain has its own issues, and we'll hear some of my colleagues talking about it today. This is a fantastic time for the CFOs to lead the way. Why do I say this? I think it's a good opportunity for us to say, becoming from a chief finance officer to a chief value officer. For centuries, the CFOs have been known to really, to deal with value protection for the organization. I think the pendulum has to shift much more towards value creation because we are one of those unique functions that understand business end to end. I know that in India we have more than 1 billion people and maybe 500-600 million people talk Hindi. But I can tell you there is only one language of business in the world, and that is accountancy. See how powerful we are if we use our language to really change the world completely. I'm told in the world, and some of my colleagues may have better opinions, there are more than 200 million businesses. And there's only 3.5 million accountants. So I think the challenge on us is really to grow the number of accountants, but also to create value. So what is important as we look at the future, and I know in the last few days we've had a lot of deliberations. So it's really looking at the whole area of sustainability and how CFOs can play a much bigger role. The whole area of ESG, where we are going to be, clearly the game changer in this context. Digital, the World Economic Forum said that finance can be digitized 68% so that finance function and the CFOs themselves can move into much more value creation. We have a very, very fantastic panel here, but we are going to start with someone who doesn't need a lot of introduction when it comes to India. So I have the single privilege to call upon stage CEO Sanjiv Mehta, who is the CEO and Managing Director of Hindustan Liver Limited. Sir, आपको तो सब लोग जानते हैं. शुक्रिया.
Namaskar and good afternoon. As a proud member of ICAI, I'm delighted that the World Congress of Accountants is being held in my country. And on behalf of all Indians, to all people who have come from abroad, a very special welcome to you. Businesses and corporations evolve in tandem with the expectations of the society. In today's context, there are many themes which are at an inflection point. Leadership for the future, digital sustainability. And I'm extremely delighted to share my thoughts on a very interesting subject, which is championing an integrated mindset to drive sustainable value creation. We live in a world where volatility and uncertainty have become commonplace. The pandemic has shown the fragility of our ecosystem and its rippling effect across the world. Loss of lives, livelihoods, economic hardship, social inequality is on the rise. An estimated 70 million people have been pushed into extreme poverty. This is not the first and will not be the last crisis that humanity experiences. Years of abuse and unsustainable consumption have ravaged nature and adversely impacted climate, leading to depletion of biodiversity and a high risk of zoonotic diseases. Climate change by far is the biggest concern looming over humanity. and the cost of inaction will exceed the cost of action. The only way to avoid the worst possible climate outcome is to accelerate our efforts now and stop procrastinating. Individuals, organizations, and governments have started to make progress in battling the climate crisis. As world leaders commit to reducing the carbon intensity, aiming for net zero, and improving the ESG governance, India too has set sustainability stretching targets for itself. We are committed to reducing the emission intensity of our GDP by 45% compared to the 2005 levels by 2030 and achieve about 50% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel-based energy resources by 2030. All this are going to take trillions of dollars as we move towards Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi's commitment to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. Now, for any business to survive and thrive, the focus must always be on a multi-stakeholder model. We need to look at from a different vantage point and over a different horizon. I think it was Churchill who said, the inherent vice of capitalism is the unequal sharing of blessings. The inherent virtue of socialism is the equal sharing of miseries. We must share the blessings of capitalism in a much more equitable way to take away the miseries of the society and collectively win. The world needs growth, and so do businesses. And this growth needs to be good for all consumers, communities, the economy, the planet, and the shareholders. Businesses need to create value not just for shareholders, but for every stakeholder across the value chain. Stakeholder capitalism is
Добрый
about the
день, друзья.
values of the
Сейчас
company
я
and the way it
постараюсь
operates
быстро
to
ввести
reflect the
в
interests of
курс то, что
multiple
было пропущено,
stakeholders all the
на
time.
то, что у меня
In the
есть.
aftermath of the pandemic, boards and executive leadership of all organizations are looking at
Значит, мы
reinventing the
сейчас
business
говорим о
model,
том, чтобы рост был
building
полезен для
resilience,
всех
and
потребителей,
optimizing
сообществ,
resource
экономики,
dependence.
планеты и
In
акционеров.
response to these
Предприятия
evolving demands,
должны
businesses
создавать
are
стоимость
increasingly taking steps towards incorporating sustainable business activities
или
and
ценность
adopting
не
an
только для
integrated
акционеров, но и для каждого
strategy in
акционера
sustainability.
государства по
At
всей
Hindustan Unilever,
цепочке
we have always held
создания
the belief that
стоимости.
being a responsible, sustainable business makes us stronger
То
and a
есть
better
сильный,
business.
конкретный
In fact,
бизнес
we
делает
believe
другой
it is the
бизнес
only way
сильнее.
of doing business. Back in
Вообще-то мы верим,
2010,
что это только так
much
можно
before the
заниматься
rest of
бизнесом.
industry and before sustainability became fashionable,
До
Unilever
того, как
codified its sustainability strategy in the form of
устойчивость в бизнесе
Unilever
стала как бы
Sustainable
даже
Living Plan.
модой,
The USLP, as it was called, was one of its kind in terms of scope
наша
and ambition.
корпорация стала вот
10 years
одной из
on,
тех, у которого
evidence has
были
been clear in our
амбиции.
business performance. If we
То
look
есть мы
at in
усилили
India, our
свое
purpose-led brands
присутствие
have been growing
в
faster
представлении
than the rest of our
результатов бизнеса.
portfolio. We have reduced costs from sustainable sourcing and eco-efficiency. And sustainability has acted as a magnet for talent, making us
Мы
the number one employer of
понизили
choice for
стоимость
several years in a row.
поисков
The
источников
USLP
и
was a game changer
экономической
and paved the way for
эффективности и
Compass,
стабильности,
which is a
что
fully
дало нам
integrated
как бы,
sustainable business strategy.
мы сыграли
At the
как
heart of
магнит
Compass is a
для
purpose to make
талантов.
sustainable living commonplace, and a stated vision is to be a leader in sustainable business. A purpose-led, future-led business model is a key differentiator which we believe drives superior performance by delivering consistent, competitive, profitable, and responsible growth. Bringing focus to the compass are time-bound and actionable goals that we are pursuing. It includes the health of the planet, improving people's health, confidence, and well-being, and contributing to a more socially inclusive world. The evolution of business and taking an integrated approach to business strategy is fundamentally altering the role of the CFO and the finance and accounting teams. The chief value architects for any organization They play a pivotal role in building sustainable businesses. CFOs must help the business recognize the opportunities and the risks associated with sustainability and be able to craft a sustainable business model that not only helps achieve better financial returns, but also generate positive value for the planet and the society. Finance role in sustainability broadly boils down to two key elements: creating value and protecting value. Let me first start by creating value. Sustainability offers huge value potential, and the finance professionals need to lead this agenda and unlock value, focusing on a few key areas. First is ensure sustainability is ingrained in the business strategy. I believe CFOs who champion sustainable business practices and have built an integrated strategic approach across the value chain will help drive better business outcomes and ultimately drive superior financial performance. ESG initiatives cannot be run by a central team. Multiple functions such as supply chain, marketing, procurement, all have to be involved in developing the sustainability plan. And finance teams have a great opportunity in orchestrating this organization-wide process. The second is linking sustainable business performance measurements to value. Finance teams will play a key role in building performance management routines and bringing accountability to sustainability. Like any other business plan, finance teams should set tangible and quantitative performance indicators and hold the relevant teams accountable for delivering results. Third is collaborating across an integrated value chain. Impact of sustainability programs can be significantly amplified by seeking collaboration across the value chain. Forming coalitions with industry peers to find new innovative solutions and advocating policy shifts will be key. Finance can indeed play a key role by being externally focused and helping structure innovative partnerships. The fourth is communicating the story of sustainability. We need to be able to tell the story in a manner that moves consumer preferences towards more sustainable businesses and brands. Now, when it comes to protecting values, I think the important bit for us is to focus on first is the ESG risk management. Now it is becoming more evident from climate change to social inequity, all businesses are facing new kinds of risks. Some of this have a potential to be material and cause financial or reputational damage. ESG is now a strategic risk for organizations that require immediate attention from the CFOs and the risk management function. The second is leading reporting on ESG. CFOs and the teams will need to take a lead in meaningfully improve the company's ESG reporting agenda. This first is within this reporting standards and measurement, bringing in uniformity and standardization of reporting is the most important element in measurement and reporting. Today, there are multiple frameworks, such as the International Sustainability Standards Board, Global Reporting Initiative, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, Sustainability Accounting Standards Board. In India, we have also advanced in this journey and have rolled out the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report, or BRSR. I strongly believe that with the expertise we have, accountants in India should lead from the front to bring alignment and convergence across reporting frameworks to ensure uniform disclosure methodology for investors and ease the pressure on companies. The second is internal controls and auditing standards. With enhanced sustainability requirements, it is equally important to evolve auditing standards to enable auditors to provide assurance on these areas. Closely linked to this is creating internal control frameworks over non-financial information that will ensure accurate and reliable measurement and reporting. And the third subpart is engagement with investors. Investors and market participants are factoring a range of ESG measures into the investment decision. This calls for an increased engagement from the CFOs and investor relations teams with investors, analysts, and ESG rating agencies to ensure that the sustainability agenda of the company and its progress is well understood. Management of key ESG risk will also be a topic of interest to this stakeholders. The third part of this is building organization wide capabilities. Many aspects of ESG disclosure are still evolving, and organization understanding of the same might be limited. In fact, the alphabet soup of ESG acronyms, guidelines, and extent of information needs can be overwhelming at first. Finance team needs to first equip themselves to be comfortable with this and then help the larger organization help them. The use of technology for timely and accurate financial reporting is well established. This is something which could also move towards the new disclosure requirements on sustainability. Let me end by reiterating my belief in human ingenuity and a capacity to change. I believe that when humankind decides to change, there is virtually no limit to how fast or how dramatically we can do so. We have the technology, we can create financial capacity, we have the intellect, and we have the visceral instinct to survive. We should embrace this crisis as an opportunity to craft a different and better future together. This is a moment that tests our humanity. It must be met with solidarity. Let us transform our world into one that is fairer, inclusive, and more equitable, greener and more sustainable, healthier and smarter, and very importantly, more adaptable and resilient. And who better than accountants to play an important part in this journey? Thank you so much for listening to me.